So the Black Panther movie has just come out in China, and apparently the Chinese reaction to this movie has been a bit apparently it's been a bit racist, and so here's what people are saying that. So one of the comments is saying that maybe Chinese people are still not used to a film full of black people, which, to be honest, is not really that racist. But the next comment from a different review goes on to say, Black Panther is black, all the major characters are black, a lot of the scenes are black, the car chasing scene is black. The blackness has really made me drowsy. Which, to be honest, is this is where all the controversy started because these comments were seen to be saying, "Oh, there's too much blackness. There's too many black people. We don't like this movie." And the next comment from a different person goes on to say, "When I entered the theater, a bunch of black people were fighting in the night. I've never been in a theater so dark that I couldn't find my seat." And this was seen as being one of those racist jokes where they say, "Oh, a black person walks into a room and the whole room goes dark." And a different comment was saying that the film is filled with black actors and actresses. Also, because the film's colors are a bit dark, it's nearly torture for the eyes to watch the film in 3D. And this was one of the key comments that people have been talking about. The fact that someone said that watching this movie and all of its blackness was like torture for the eyes. A few people have come out to sort of like defend the Chinese and try to explain where these comments were coming from. So the first person I saw when I was doing research into this, he said that, oh, these jokes about black people making everything dark, these are just funny jokes. Don't take them too seriously. Which, to be honest, I don't really agree with. If it's a racist joke, then it's still racist. Doesn't matter whether it's a joke or not. It's still a racist statement. Um, Another argument that I saw, which I actually think makes a lot more sense, was someone saying that it's probably a case of having poor cinema equipment because some of the scenes were very dark. When I read the comments in Chinese on Chinese review sites, they were saying that the scenes in Korea were quite dark, and also the final fight between Killmonger and Black Panther that was also very dark. And this is a comment that's been said by a lot of people, not just people in China. And what they were saying was that you've got these two guys who are dressed all in black from head to toe, and they're fighting in a dark cave. And people find that it wasn't easy to watch it. I mean, you could see it, but it was hard to make out what was happening. And if you're watching this in China, maybe you've got a lower quality of cinema equipment, it might make it even harder to see what's happening. So I guess that the argument kind of makes a bit more sense. And what I decided to do was I realized that most people that were doing this sort of like analysis of whether Chinese people were being discriminatory towards a black movie were just looking at the comments on Black Panther itself, the reviews for Black Panther. They weren't looking at Black Panther and then comparing it to other movies. Because personally, I think it would make more sense if we were to compare the comments for, let's say, Black Panther versus Thor or a Captain America movie. And then by comparing the three movies, we can see there's some sort of discrimination towards Black Panther if for some reason they just don't like this movie because it's full of too much blackness. But I thought what would be even better would be to compare the reviews for Black Panther against other very black movies that have come out recently. Very, you could almost say, very pro-black movies that have come out recently. And the movies I decided to look at were Black Panther, obviously. There's also Marshall, which has Chadwick Boseman, the main character, the main actor in Black Panther. He's also the main actor in this movie called Marshall. And there's also Fences, which has Denzel Washington. And in this movie, he's got his black wife, his black children, his black mistress, and his black friends. So it's a very black movie. The next one was quite a recent one, which has been making headlines, which is Get Out, which is a very black focused kind of movie. And the final one is Hidden Figures, about these black scientists that were working for NASA. So it's a very pro-black movie. So what I decided to do was to compare the rating in the West versus the rating in China to see if there's a systematic down rating of black movies in China. So if we give a high rating in the West for that movie, is it going to get marked down in China? Is it just going to get poor ratings just because it's got lots of black people? So I decided to take a look at this. So the first movie was Black Panther. In the West, we give Black Panther a rating of 7.8. So it's 7.8 in the West. In China, it's a 6.7, which is very, very low. So there's a big difference. So it seems like for some reason, Chinese people really didn't like this movie, Black Panther. The next movie is Marshall. In the West, we gave Marshall a 7.2. In China, they gave it a 7.2 as well. So it seems like they were on equal footing. For this particular movie, we liked it just as much in the West as they liked it in China. The next movie is Fences, the one with the whole black family. In the West, we gave Fences a 7.2 rating. In China, it was given a 7.0 rating. So they're almost the same. So there is a slight difference. So in the West, we liked Fences a little bit more than they did in China, but it's a very small difference. The next one is Get Out. Now, in in the West, we gave Get Out a very high rating of 7.7. In China, they gave it a rating of 7.5, which is almost the same. So it seems like Chinese people, for some reason, they really enjoyed Get Out as well. The last movie is Hidden Figures. And this is a movie that shows black people being successful, and it shows some very intelligent black people. And in the West, we gave this movie a rating of 7.8. That's as high as Black Panther got, and 7.8 is actually the highest rating that any movie has got in the West on this list. In China, Hidden Figures got a rating of 8.6. That's huge. So for some reason, Chinese people really, really, really loved Hidden Figures. And what this suggests, based on the data, it suggests that Chinese people tend to like these black movies, these very black movies, just as much as people like them in the West. And it's not like they have a problem with black people being successful or being seen as being intelligent and being important to a movie, because they really liked Hidden Figures. They liked it a lot more than we liked it in the West. So what this then brings me to ask is, so what was the reason why they didn't like Black Panther? And I have to go back to some of the comments that people were saying. So a lot of people kept talking about the darkness, the darkness. And I think it all came down to the choice of cinematography for this particular movie. The fact that there were a lot of dark scenes. One of the opening scenes was very dark. It was at night. You've got the car chase scene in Korea, which was also very dark. Then you've got the final scene, which was in a dark cave with people dressed all in black. So I guess that made it hard for people to actually see the movie and what was happening. And what I think probably made it worse was that reading some of the comments here, the people in China saying that when they went to see the movie, it was only available in 3D. Now, personally, I don't like watching movies in 3D. It gives me headaches. So I can just imagine if I had to watch a movie in 3D and it involved people dressed in black fighting in a dark space, I probably wouldn't like it that much. And on top of this, China is still a third world country, so they probably don't have cinema equipment that's as good as in the West. So overall, the whole experience would have been a bit unpleasant. That seems to be the main reason why people didn't like this movie. And yeah, so that's my take on it. And yeah, but anyway, that's just my opinion. Thanks for watching.